many of the days before. Trace. Trey Ying's will get back to you. Stand by, thank you. Meanwhile, let's get back to this country. The Washington Jennifer Griffin is life for U.S. at the Pentagon. Jennifer? I think what is so extraordinary about tonight's strikes, not only all eyes were on Fort Dow for the past week we've been talking with the B. Two bombers on massive ordnance penetrators, the 30,000 GBU-57 bunker buster bombs. What we can report tonight, after Sean Hannity spoke to the president, we learned there were 6 massive penetrators dropped on Fort Dow as the president wrote of Truth Social, that Fort Dow site is gone. My sources tell me those bunker buster bombs would have been dropped to the air ventilation shafts at Fort Dow Soap, most likely 3 bunker busters through each of the shops. We've been focusing on the entrances. There are 2 entrances to the Fort Dow site, which is 30 feet underground. We've also reported the mop bomb, and can it penetrate about 200 feet underground, but they work in pairs. The B-2 bomber, which flew out of Whiteman Air Force Base, they fly non-stop, and it refueled along the way. To the site at Fort Dow, they drop a 1 mop bomb, a 30,000-pound bomb, the Ghost, about 200 feet down, for there is soil that is sent removed, exposed, and in the second bomb, which drops into a hole that has a radius of about 25 feet. He goes into the same hole and can go even deeper. Fort Dow, we understand, is gone, for that is significant. That is the main nuclear enrichment site. It was deeply fortified in that mountain. But then there are the 2 other sites. You have Natan's had 3 underground enrichment facilities. Those 3, we understand, 30 Tomahawk missiles were fired from U.S. submarines about 400 miles away from the sites. The sites at Isfahan and Natan's. Those submarines were most likely Ohio-class converted guided missile subs. Though most likely the USS of Georgia or Florida were involved in those strikes. What I'm being told is that Isfahan is an even harder target than Fort Dow. We had not talked about as much this week because the focus is not B-2 and mop bombs and Fort Dow. But Isfahan is where the uranium is and the centrifuges are made. My understanding is there's a tunnel into the mountain there. It's much, much deeper than at Fort Dow. We'll have to wait and see the bomb damage at that site to see whether it was completely destroyed. I'm told from very knowledgeable sources that was most likely the hardest sites we'll have to see. Trace. So getting new information coming in here, but for clarification, we have been told, or we have been kind of reporting, the B-2 Footas went into Fort Dow and may have dropped as many of 6 of the bunker busters. There's as many as 30 Tomahawks fired at Natan's and Isfahan. Do we know how we rule out any bunker buster be used on Isfahan and Natan's? I'm told the bunker buster for use at the Fort Dow IT Tomahawks targeted Isfahan and Natan's. At this point in time, you would have had at least 3 B-2 bombers there above Fort Dow. Again, we woke up this morning, all eyes were on the reports and the sightings, the radar trackers. The flight trackers who saw it there were the 6 B-2 bombers flying towards Guam. If you were to fly from Whiteman Air Force Base in Missouri all the way to Iran, let's say, that is 30 hours straight flights. Those of bombers could not possibly have been involved in this strike. That's foe might look at what would have been flying east. Wearily at some B-2 bombers from Whiteman flew east. That is why we saw this week about 30 air refuelings position in Europe and along the way and throughout the Middle East. Because they would have been required to create an air refueling bridge to get those in B-2 Footas is a 15-hour flight. If you go east from Whiteman to Fort Dow, those bombers would have flown east and wind event refueled along the way, and they would be on their W.